You're listening to the Magnetic Boss Podcast. I'm your host, Calandra Martin, intuitive brand designer for spiritual entrepreneurs. The Magnetic Boss Podcast is where visionaries come together to openly share wisdom and authentic conversations. I know that you are ready to leave your legacy in the world and become sought out in your industry. I also know that you are sick and tired of getting overlooked. You're ready to have a magnetic business. I'm here to help you create your magnetic brand. It's my mission to help you show up confidently with a professional, irresistible online presence. If you're in this for the long game and all in on the big vision you have for your business, let's dive in. If you are listening to this in real time, we just had an incredible full moon. It is the beginning of February. And this is a really important time of year to really be tuning in to what is working, what is not working, and setting intentions for the months to come. Because what I find is that most people start their year in January, right? We have New Year, New Me. We have all of these goals and New Year's resolutions that happen. And I think that those things are great as a prerequisite to the rest of the year, but I find that in February and especially in March, when we have the spring equinox, there is a different energy about what we're calling in and what we're manifesting and what we're wanting in our lives and in our businesses. So I felt really called to come and share about the release that I have been feeling in my business in these last couple of days and weeks, and what that looks like in the sense of integration and embodiment and trusting the process. This is something that I say all of the time. I say it all of the time. When you are an entrepreneur, if you don't trust the process, you're going to hit up against walls and you're going to feel this friction and dis-ease in your business because we're trying to, and I know I've done this before, we're trying to micromanage the outcome, and that is not always going to be helpful. So in the last couple of weeks, full transparency, I had to end a contract with a client, and it was interesting for me because I had already kind of made that intuitive decision internally, and I was feeling out how I was going to present the termination of this contract to the client and waiting for the right time, right? I was like feeling it out. We were just coming off the holiday. It was a big launch season for this client, and I wanted to be in full support of her business because even when it's not an aligned fit, I still want success for my clients and I want my clients to feel supported by me. And so I had been feeling this out, and funny enough, what felt like out of left field, this client also sent a message and was feeling out of alignment too. And I think that what's beautiful about this is that what I've learned over the years and years of doing this, is that not every client is a good fit. Not every project is meant to be yours. Not every offer is meant to be the offer that you share for years and years. And so it is permission to pivot, to change your mind, to make better decisions that are aligned for you. And I have so often in the past, being the people pleaser that I am and being the person that I am, pushed and tried to make things work with clients, and ultimately at my own risk, right? It didn't positively impact my business. It turned out to be a learning lesson. And I can count on one hand the amount of clients that I have worked with in the last almost 10 years that were misaligned. It doesn't happen often, but when it does, I really allow myself to lean into the lessons of that and look at where in my process, where in my onboarding, were there gaps or were there things that I went against my own intuition and went against my own knowing. And I find that this happens so serendipitously with the moon cycle and with the seasons that we're in. And this is a season right now of releasing and claiming what you truly desire. And what I was finding in this role and with this client in particular, and the way that we were working together, was that I was not lit up by the work. It felt like work. And that's not necessarily wrong. It was in the beginning of our contract, I wanted to give ourselves time to get familiar, right? Because it's not always an instant intuitive alignment. When it comes to designing for clients and working for clients and their businesses, I don't always get it right the first time. And I want to always give myself and my clients grace with that and give room for feeling it out and getting familiar. But what I was finding was that even though I'm really good at what I do, I was still struggling to capture what this client was envisioning. And I was still struggling to want to do the work that in other circumstances I would think that I would be lit up by. And so permission, right, in this instance, in this experience, I had to give myself permission to say, this isn't right for me. This isn't what I want. This isn't what I was meant to do. And it isn't a case of right or wrong, right? This client didn't do anything wrong. I didn't do anything wrong. It just was not the right fit. And we both were able to recognize that in a really clear and professional way. And I've come up against this in the past. And the biggest lesson for me, and that I want to share with you and open up the conversation with you and invite you to sit with this for your own business and your own life, is trusting your gut, trusting your intuition, trusting when you have that background noise in your head that is saying, I don't really want to fucking do this, right? Because if you're feeling that restriction, you're feeling that tension, it is going to overflow into other areas, right? It's going to create these blocks and these circumstances where you might be blocking your success in so many other ways. And so as soon as we came to the agreement that this contract was ending, and as soon as I had that release and the letting go, so many things opened up, not just like on paper, right? I have clients coming in. I'm now booking out my calendar for February. I have new aligned opportunities coming through, but also in such an energetic sense. And I was telling this to my husband that I just feel free again. I feel lit up by my business again. I feel excited about the opportunities again. And how much of a disservice I was doing myself, even just for a short period of time, to be in misalignment, to be in a contract that didn't feel good. And I think that as humans, we really have to recognize where we're doing something because we think we have to, and because we think we should, or because it looks good on paper, or it might advance our careers, or it might give us the clout, right? Even if those things are true, does it light you up? Does it bring you joy? Does it bring you excitement? And if not, what opportunities, what other things might you be holding yourself back from, or blocking, or repelling energetically that you would be bringing into your life? So this was just a really good example. And I was unsure on whether or not I wanted to share this on the podcast. And I've, of course, been keeping this experience very confidential for this client. And I know that she will do the same, because there are no bad feelings around it. It was just not the right fit. But I do want to bring this up as a lesson to share with you, because I know that as a manifesting generator, as a 1-3 profile, it is in my design to learn through lived experiences and to share those experiences with you, with my audience, with the people around me, to give you the opportunity to learn from my mistakes, or at the very least have a different level of perception. So this felt like such a timely episode in the very beginning of the year. This is like I said, such a good time to be looking back at your goals and your dreams and your things that you said at the very beginning of the year, or maybe at the very end of 2025, and just sit with it. Like, is it what you really want? Is it aligned? Is it still bringing you joy? Or do you have something on your heart? Do you have something that is asking for your attention? And I know for me, yes, it is finding those aligned clients and attracting those aligned opportunities, but it's also starting new projects and giving attention to the things that I am lit up by. And I may have mentioned this in the past episode, but this year my sister and I have been launching our new brand in our podcast, and I want to give that attention. But I was holding back on that because I didn't have the capacity in the role that I was in. So just an experience, a lesson to share with you today. I would be so curious to know what's happening in your world, what might be shifting, what you might be letting go of, what you're calling in this next cycle, in this next phase, as we're getting closer to the spring equinox. If you're listening to this in real time, I know anybody who is in a state that has winter months, if you're in the US, you're right there along with me. We are ready for winter to be over. We want that warmer weather, and there's so much life and excitement that comes with that. So I want to hear about what you're calling in. If this episode lit you up, I would love for you to share it, tag me on Instagram, do all the things. The podcast, as I've mentioned, and in my last update, is going to be fewer and far between episodes. I'm not doing a weekly posting cycle, but I am excited to be bringing you some high value content and to really be focusing on curating these conversations to support you in your life and your business. So I appreciate your feedback, your reviews, and your subscription to the podcast wherever you are listening. And I'll talk with you real soon.
Thank you so much for tuning in today. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe wherever you are listening so you never miss a beat. For episode show notes, visit calandramartin.com/podcast. Your iTunes reviews and your sharing of the show helps us reach more magnetic bosses just like you. Until next time.